people come on the show, and Kevin Hart, doing things with Kevin Hart, he just really makes me laugh. He's an amazing improv partner. And when I first met him, his career wasn't where it is now, but I could tell he's got such great comedic energy. He's so funny, and he really is that guy. If Kevin Hart was here right now, he'd be like, "What's your name?" What do you do? And he'd make something funny happen. And it's sweet, it's nice, it comes from a good place. So I am as excited today to meet young, talented people, young, funny people, to see a young, funny show. There's a show called Man Seeking Woman, comedy sketch show. That's hilarious. I see little things here and there. Last Man on Earth, Bill Hader. I see young people doing really funny stuff, and it makes me, it's so excited that it keeps you young. It makes me feel like when I was 19, I'd be as excited as I am right now.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
President Faust and Mr. O'Brien, this is your upper right. Thank you for doing this.
What time does our plane depart? This is just what it sounded like.
Currently a fellow at the Kennedy School, and learning the things that you would think people would learn at the Kennedy School. One thing I've been very surprised at, however, are how these military and political leaders who are center stage and running our world and protecting us have all said of the importance of balance in life. And they sort of talk about Erik Erikson and how the richest and fullest lives attempt to achieve an inner balance between work, love, and play. You are at the top of your game. You are at the top of your field. So I just wonder if you could comment, or if you had any thoughts or advice.
Sure. About balance, is that what you were saying? Just about
how when you're someone who is so accomplished and so driven, how do you achieve balance in your life?
Well, I lucked out that I think, I'm not just saying this because my dad's here, but I had very good parents who gave me, and a couple of things. I had very good parents, and I come from a really good family, and then I was very fortunate. I didn't become a famous person until I was 30. I think fame is a drug. I think it's a toxic drug. I would be willing to talk to the New England Journal of Medicine about fame. I'm serious, this isn't a joke. I think if you look at people like Michael Jackson, they were little kids that were exposed to a massive amount of fame. And that happens over and over and over again. I was very fortunate. I came from a really strong background. I had a strong identity. I had a strong set of moral values. And then I didn't get bombarded until I was 30. When I was 30, overnight, people started knowing who I was, following me on the street, asking me. They didn't have selfies then, but for a signature or whatever. And things getting weird. And I had the strength to be able to handle it. And when I would come home to my family, they would say, empty the dishwasher. And I would say, you can't talk to me that way. And then I would empty the dishwasher. And that is, I think, been a huge value to me. I think we've got a tricky thing that's happening right now where people can become very well known because of the internet at a very young age. And I think it's not going to go well for a lot of those people. I worry about very young people getting exposed to. We're supposed to have gravity act upon us. We're supposed to. That's what keeps us healthy. I have this analogy that I came up with once, and I think it's actually valid, which is they sent in the 60s, the Russians couldn't beat us in getting to the moon, or the 70s, but what they could decide that they could beat us at is amount of time in space. So they would keep Russian astronauts in space for like a year at a time, and then bring them, and they would land on the Russian steppes and out in the water. They would land there, and they would take them out, and they were like jellyfish. And they would lay them in a chair, and they would do a news conference, and they couldn't move. And they were just jellyfish. And that's when people found out, scientists realized that we need gravity to stack the molecules in our bones. That's what actually gives us strength, is the gravity and when you take it away from us, we become freaks. I think that's what fame is. I really do. I'm not doing it. I honestly believe that fame is removing gravity from people and allowing outrageous behavior. And you're going to see it a lot. You're going to see it with some of your classmates who do well, who become famous or rich. I see rich people all the time. Gravity has been removed and they've become less than human. They're not nice, they're outrageous, they're ridiculous. And that's where you get these absurd people that are all over our culture right now that behave crazily and then say insane things and tweet out insane things because nobody's around there. There's no gravity acting on them. It's actually not even their fault. So I think for me personally, I was very fortunate to come from the place I came from. And because I came from that, I chose a partner, my wife, who's like, you know, I've been married 14 years. I've known her 16 years, and she's just, you know, that's great. That's great that you had that great day at work. Okay, now we got to talk about the parent-teacher conference tomorrow. You know, and it's not, oh my God, you got to, you know, ride a bicycle with Ryan Gosling today? What, you know, oh my God. She's just like, that's what you did at work. Here's what I did at work. And now let's talk about the parent-teacher conference. And I keep saying, hey, Ryan Gosling. She's like, I don't care. And I have kids, and I'm in a real world where people get mad at me, people are disappointed in me, I have to apologize. I think that's the biggest element, and I think we get in trouble when people in power have no gravity acting on them.
Thank you. I just want to set the record straight. I graduated from here and lived in Elliott, and I never once saw anyone with a falcon on their arm.
That's because the Falcons couldn't stand those people.
See YouTube fucking blocking and copyright.
What's that? One more? I'm being told we have time for one more? Yes.
Hi, I am Christine. I'm writing for the Crimson Arts, and I think that nowadays it seems that arts education and like the arts department seems to be the first thing that gets cut down on when there's a budget cut in colleges. I know Harvard is putting a lot more emphasis on this, but for you as a performer and an artist, what do you think should be the approach towards arts education in colleges, and how important do you think an integrated like art education is for college students?
Well, I think it's huge, obviously. As far as I can't answer the economics of it. The arts are never going to get, the arts, you know, have never had the financial backing that industry is going to get. And art sometimes flourishes at times historically when it isn't fed that much. Sometimes the best music comes from Liverpool because no one's paying attention, or it comes from the grunge movement in Seattle because it's not being inundated with a lot of help. It can work obviously different ways. I don't know, I obviously think Harvard's always going to have a great arts program, and it's always going to be important. I want my kids, they're really interested in the arts. I want them to, they're very interested in acting. My daughter's really interested in singing. I want to encourage that, but I really want to encourage them to get a real education. And my message to her is, look, when you're 22, if you want to try and be part of an all-girl group, I can't stop you. But until then, you're going to learn what you need to know. And so, you know, I do think it has to be in balance. So I think, obviously, it has to be a part of the Harvard education, but I would be worried if either one of my children spent all 4 years only studying dance, voice, things like that. I would really want them to get the kind of education I had.
So, any final words?
You've been disappointing. They're like, it's true. You're very self-hating. No. Just thanks. This was a treat for me. President Faust and I have been trying to figure out when this could happen for about a year. And
Can't read that.
like if you encounter me in the real world, please, I encourage you to come up to me and say, I was at Harvard, you spoke, and tell me how you're doing, because I do
English? I can't
really
read that.
like to connect. I enjoy that, and I think you're an incredibly impressive group of people, and I hope one of you hires me someday. I mean that. You think you're here to look for a job. That's what I'm thinking is I see a sea of people that will be in control of the world when I have trouble walking, and I just ask you to be nice to me. That's all I ask.
Thank you so much.
Oh, rock and roll.